Hi, I'm Dr. Melanie Barham. I'm the founder of the DVM Project, and welcome to the Kickstart Your Career Challenge for students. So we're here and we're going to be talking about today about finding your fit in practice and in the profession. So when you are thinking about where you want to go within veterinary medicine, I think some big questions come up, like as far as, do I want to do an internship? Do I want to go into private practice? Do I want to do something else entirely? And it can feel a little overwhelming as far as the big decision. Where am I going to end up? And so a couple things I want to say about that before we dive into our exercise that I'm going to have you do today. So you just need a pen and a paper or a tablet or something. So the first thing I want to say is that the average person is going to make a lot of career changes in their life. And the research that I completed in 2020 shows that, around the 3 to 5 year mark, it's quite likely that you're going to either renew your vows with your current job and reinvigorate and get interested again after you've gone through a really intense learning period of getting great at where you are. And you'll either renew and rejuvenate and do something in the similar area, or you'll change and you'll make a change. And that seems to happen for veterinarians every 3 to 5 years. So don't feel alarmed if you change your interest throughout veterinary school or you change your interest a couple of years out. It's totally normal and it's very expected. So let's talk about finding your fit within the profession. So what I want you to do is grab a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to jot down answers to a couple of the following. And don't take any more than 5 minutes to do this, because honestly, the first thing that comes to your mind is probably going to be correct. So I want you to think back to rotations if you're in 4th year or final year, or I want you to think back to summer jobs or teachers that you might have had either in high school or undergrad or other places within vet school, and think about which professors you learned the most from. So write down their names and which ones you enjoyed the most. Write down their names right now. And then write down the names of the ones you learned the least from. And just jot down a couple names. Even if only 2 come to your mind, cool beans. And then what I want you to do is think about why they were helpful to you and why they were useful, why you had fun learning from them, independent of the topic. So say you really love neurology, maybe you really loved your neurology professor because they were teaching you neurology, but what was it about that professor or that learning experience, like the people you were with? Were you learning in a peer group? So were you doing peer group learning? Were you doing a lot of independent learning? Were you do you enjoy being put on the spot and asked questions and thinking on your feet? Do you enjoy having a slow think and being able to go and research things and have a think about what you're going to respond? Or do you enjoy responding in a written fashion? Or do you enjoy having like a rapid fire oral discussion, maybe around rounds? Do you enjoy, what did you enjoy about the professor's teaching style? Were they really open? Were they really funny? Were they happy to take questions? What was it specifically that you loved about it? And for the ones that you didn't learn as much from, why? What things did you just really rankled you? So if you can write those down, don't spend a lot of time doing that, but see if there are any common themes about what you could learn about yourself. So I know when I picked an internship, I know that I am not really competitive and I don't like to be in a competitive environment. So for me, I knew that I really didn't want to go to an internship where there was going to be 10 interns. I knew I wouldn't thrive well in that. I also know for myself that I really like to have one-on-one learning, and I don't mind being put on the spot. I actually really love that. And I love to really orally process stuff, so talk about things out loud, where I don't necessarily enjoy doing formal rounds. So it's, for me, a non-academic internship was hugely the right fit. But it took me knowing those things about myself, and sometimes it takes visiting places before you can really understand those things. But this exercise kind of short circuits that. So write those things down, and then also think about the other elements that contribute to your success in specific areas. So for example, if you are on junior surgery or something, and you know that you found it so very stressful to be like up all night thinking, or if you were on emergency and you found it very, very stressful to be up all night and you don't do well with no sleep, write that down. Just write down the elements that you need for success within your within your area. And to some extent, some of these are basic human needs, but they will predicate where you're going to have most success in the profession and where you might fit in. And these don't necessarily have to be things to do with what part of the profession, like which specialty you choose or which type of practice or not practice that you choose, but it has more to do with the elements and the base elements that have to do with where you might end up. So I think another great example would be around, a sleep is a good example. I know that I am absolute garbage on zero sleep. I cannot function. So for me, I did not choose an internship where I would have had to do a lot of overnights because I just cannot do that and be a reasonable human. So I chose differently than that, whereas other classmates of mine and friends that's just not even a factor for them. They're fine with it and they're able to blow past that, or they really needed that kind of environment and desired that kind of environment to match their learning styles. So pop those things down and just think about that as you go through. And if you look at a job, for example, a summer job or an internship or a post-graduation job, think about those things that contributed to your success and your lack of learning in some areas as you start to weigh up whether it's worth applying to those positions or whether that will be a good fit. So I hope that was helpful for you. That's my Finding Your Fit exercise. Make sure you comment in the Facebook group as well and let us know what you think about that and whether you had any aha moments, like what's one element of success that you were surprised about, that you were surprised to learn about yourself. Have an awesome day, and I can't wait to see where your career takes you.